Hi guys, welcome back to another timeless reading. This is filmed on Wednesday, March the 5th. We're pulling from the Wild Unknown Tarot cards. So it's kind of weird because I'm in training right now at work and it's just like my schedule's all over the place and I'm like kind of scatterbrained. It's like, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? Afterwards, I don't want to go to bed too early and then I'm just tossing and turning and everything. So it's just like, I know it's other things too, but I definitely felt emotional this evening. And again, is it because I'm tired and other things going on? Like this week has just been all over the place. You know, it's like not what I planned at all. I was just like, oh, it's going to be a nice, relaxing week. Kids are on, March break and some, in the United States it's spring break and, catch up on readings and nope. Universe had something else in store. I think it's hilarious. So we have the Chariot. So with determination, you know what I mean? You are the victor wearing the wreath. You are in charge. You know what I mean? Chariot energy, very hard workers. Whenever you're determined, you succeed at it. You are determined to succeed. This is, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like what happened this week. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's scary because I'm afraid to mess up. You know what I mean? But I feel like there's things that are in place that will prevent that from happening. So, you know what I mean? Especially because we're brand spanking new. It's pretty straightforward, but it's just like anything you do brand new, you're afraid, you know what I mean, to mess up. But I love like this portal energy. We are heading into retrograde next week. Purim is next week, so that's the fast of Esther. So there's a lot like happening. You know what I mean? But I feel like it's just like. You know what I mean? Even if things don't, kind of like I had planned this week. You know what I mean? Like what a blessing to be planning this week. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's just like you kind of, especially going through the journey that we did, it's just, how dare, you know what I mean? I couldn't even plan the next 5 minutes before. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a huge blessing where it's just like, I made plans for this week, but other things had to take precedent. You know what I mean? I love the fact that we got the Wheel of Fortune here. You know what I mean? And a lot of owl. So owls are major deliveries of messages. And I've been seeing owls for a bit because there's Chris that I follow on TikTok and Instagram. He's an indigenous influencer. And he was showing an owl in his trade. I was like, oh, that's really freaking cool. I've seen an owl in like the zoo, but you know what I mean? It's captured. You know what I mean? I've never seen an owl out in the wild side. Though, so it's like, oh, that's so cool. And now it's like it's showing up in all the cards, right? So one thing that really stood out to me, this, you take your own interpretation, but when I have read for people, they talk about lawyers and police being involved. This has been in like a domestic violence kind of situation. You know what I mean? But I feel so more like police are involved. So I would just like be careful, watch your temper or what you're doing, what you're saying. I feel like because people are upset about your growth. Because when this Six of Cups came out, I feel like sometimes, especially the darkness of the card there, it's like sometimes we don't see what's coming, like winter blues kind of thing. It's like what's coming is like that beautiful spring. We were talking about that in one of the last videos. It's like the trees bloom, 5 more inches every year. And, it was the year of the trees. So it was in January, or it was in February this year, February 14th, right around there. So I was just like, I feel like, you know what I mean? Father of Swords for a lot of people is like someone, rushes into your life, but or like speeding and stuff like that. But maybe because what you're putting on social media. But I feel like we got an Emperor card too, so we're getting a lot of father energy. You know what I mean? Like Father of Swords. To me, it's the King of Swords. You know what I mean? It's like the ultimate truth. Very stern. Emperor Fire. I feel like this has, you know what I mean? Because like kind of like retrograde, but it's like, again, you don't have to, like I wanted to do, before I even knew about training, I was going to do a webinar today before my regular shift that I was supposed to work. I thought I was working my regular shift, so I was like, oh, it should be done before I start. Like, it was going to be really crunching the time, but it's like I haven't done a Astrology Answers webinar in so long. So I was just like, I signed up for it and I was just like, ugh, you know? Again, sometimes it's like, I hopefully they recorded and we're able to watch it, you know, and see what happens, what it was all about. But I feel like this is like expansion. I definitely feel, you know what I mean? Like, kind of if you see the string and it's like surrounding the ball. So sometimes we feel like, you can feel constrained. It's kind of like all tied up where it's just, you're trying to kind of undo a knot. And it's like the more you're trying to undo it, it feels like the knot's getting bigger. It's not getting smaller kind of thing. So I feel like, like I was, earlier in the week, I was sitting there and I had taken the tray down and I was like, well, I want to put the rocking chair here. And, I dusted the rocking chair all nice and I put some nice wood for oil on the wood, you know what I mean, of the rocking chair because it's an antique. So I was just like, give it some TLC and, dusted everything that was going around it and stuff like that. So it's just like picking at little things. To me, it's just like things that I tick off my list. Like these are things I wanted to get done. That's why I was just like, March break was coming. I was like, giddy up, But they're talking about this rebirth of our life. Winter is definitely that. The next 2 days is going to be rainy here. So I feel like it's like washing away winter, washing away, waking up the earth in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? So, when you see the string around this ball, it's like, just kind of getting rid of, maybe that winter blues. Here it's going to be rainy, so, not so much walking and stuff like that, but, like maybe like myself, kind of putting that energy inwards and it's like doing things around the house. With the change and transformation, that's what all retrogrades are like. People, places, things that we have to purge or things that we refuse to purge. We're scared to purge. You know what I mean? You're moving into the unknown. You know what I mean? Kind of like this. I'm not so much scared to do it because it's just like, you know what I mean? I just feel like it's a lot of information all at once. You know what I mean? But it's pretty straightforward. Especially when you kind of look for keywords and you know what you're doing, right? And it's just like anything. The more you do it, the better you get, right? So I'm kind of getting used to that, So I feel like with judgment, I feel like a lot of us went through this evolution. I definitely feel like I've seen, and I've been blessed with a lot of readings. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I haven't been, every time I wanted to come on, I was just like, no, I got to sit there and, I got blessed with another reading. Like, I'm not going to, you know what I mean? Sit there and tiptoe around it. I've been sharing with you guys, like, I haven't been around or not posting, dailies. Well, I don't call them dailies because it's like I'm not able to do dailies. Like, sometimes you'll get 3 videos in a row. I try to do more, but, I was blessed with so many readings. I was just like, oh my gosh. And I'm still haven't caught up, so it's like I still have pending readings. I was kind of trying to utilize March break for that, but again, it's like I could feel, you know what I mean? How, different it is. You know what I mean? It feels so good, honest to God. I love being in that energy. I was so thankful that, the people that had asked for them, because that's the energy I love being. I love being in that flow. You know what I mean? It's just so nice to sit there and be one with who you are, And I love the fact it's like peace. You know what I mean? Because look at this bird. It's kind of shedding its feathers, like a phoenix. It sheds all its feathers, it combusts, and then, it's reborn. And you know what I mean? This bird is losing its feathers. But I feel like with this 6 of Cups, for 6 of Cups for me is, everybody's different, but I always go back to the Astrology Answers one. I see this strong pillar, like it's, made out of cement, and they have this big cup on top of it. And I feel like it's like they're pulling from their own cup. I know the definition is different, but this is the way I see it. You know what I mean? And I feel like, especially here, it's like you're growing in areas you don't even realize. You know what I mean? You're expanding. You're maybe becoming... I feel like when you're more grounded, I feel like you're more confident. You know what I mean? So maybe you don't see it on the surface, but there's a lot of internal work going on. Or your words are speaking in so many ways that it's allowing you to grow and expand. Maybe you're, like with myself, the tribe's growing and expanding. And I'm incredibly grateful for that, For years, don't see numbers moving or anything like that, or think that, your message is getting out there. You know what I mean? But it's just like, just because it doesn't show there, you know what I mean? Doesn't mean it's, even if it hits one person, there's a reason why you're pulled to, like, I was very much pulled to this deck today. So we got the Sun card. I left the Three of Pentacles out there. I feel like celebration. You know what I mean? I feel like reaching new plateaus, new peaks. You know, I feel, that's why I feel like this expansion. I feel like, there's a reason for all this. You know what I mean? Sometimes we're just like, kind of void of course going through, things like, just going through the day to days of life. And trust me, it's a blessing. You know, I remember going through the loss of Shane, and it's just like, when you sit there and you can't even, have a quiet moment because your mind is just going, going, going. And I'm the type of person that likes to have plan A, plan B, plan C. And, even like, situations now, I'm just like, how many times have we gone through this situation and it's been all right? So it's just like, let's just go through the situation. I know who I am. I know I'm a hard worker. I know what I do. And it's like, it'll change over. Habits need to change and stuff like that. I know, it's just when, I'm sure a lot of us, if you're in Canada, you can speak of this, but, especially, the Atlantic coast, I'm not sure if Ontario's like this, but, the Atlantic coast, all of us are, you know what I mean? Like, I sat there and it was like, we got a lot of warmer days, so it's like the heat wasn't on, like, because there's still baseboard heaters in the basement, but it's just like, it was warm, so you're not using the heat, so the hydro bill shouldn't be more than the previous month when it was colder. You know what I mean? And it's just like, make it make sense. It just, the math ain't mathin', I'm sure a lot of us are like, kind of like scratching our heads, and it's, doing these friggin' like, E equals MC squared kind of equation. It's like, what? Make it make sense. But I just feel like, there's definitely some expansion going on here. I feel like change and transformation, things are leaving because new things are coming in, I feel like it's where you spend your time, where you're putting your energy. It's like, you know what I mean? I feel like you're pouring into an empty cup. I don't feel like you're pouring from an empty cup. I feel like you're pouring into an empty cup. I just feel like it's, you know what I mean? Falling on deaf ears, or it's kind of pointless. It's so funny, like, looking at that death card, it's in cursive, kind of looks like Judith. But I love that, the fact of, like, the bird, the imagery of the birds. Because I feel like it's, like, it's with next to the expansion there. I definitely feel expansion in so many different shapes and forms. I feel like a lot of people will be going through that. So I feel like, during retrograde, we're going through the fast for 3 days. It's the fast of Esther. I definitely will be utilizing water. I'm not gonna not be drinking water. I need to drink my water. I did that once and I ended up on the surgery table. I ain't doing that again. So it's like, I always encourage anyone that follows it is like, do it as long as you can. You could do it for an hour, 2 hours, 3. Maybe you'll be successful and do the whole thing. I don't remember how long I went. I know I went for 2 days at one point. I don't remember if I did all 3. I'll definitely try to do all 3 this year. But, I definitely feel like, going through those, you know what I mean, mind over matter kind of thing. It's harder when you're working, though. You're definitely utilizing your brain a lot more, So, I definitely feel be kind to yourself, and they're like talking about channel messages. You're probably getting signs. I was literally talking about something and then I heard the train whistle and stuff like that. But, don't let the Father of Swords. I'm just telling you that because it may resonate with someone. You know what I mean? They're showing like a stoplight. They're showing the stop, like red, like stop. So I don't know if you're blowing through red lights or something like that, or, maybe you're sleeping a little more and than you should, and you're kind of speeding all the way to work because you don't want to be late, because it's not worth it, especially this type of weather. But I definitely feel like you're expanding your horizons, which is amazing. I feel like with Judgment, usually you see them sounding the horn. I call it a shofar, and it's like kind of awakening. Certain instrumentals really do speak to your soul food. So, is it that going out to the sun? Is that putting your toes between, the sand and letting the water rush over it? So, Earth is waking up. A lot of us are going back out into nature and everything like that, and it's just enjoy every moment. Be kind to yourself. May the universe bless you good. We'll see you for the next timeless reading.